Welcome to Haunted Trail, True Camping Horrors. I'm Marcus Thompson. Tonight, we journey into Blackwood National Forest, a place of breathtaking beauty, yet one that holds a dark secret. In October 2018, four friends, Sarah Miller, Mark Jenkins, Emily Carter, and Chris Peterson, embarked on their annual fall camping trip. They were seasoned outdoors enthusiasts, familiar with the rugged terrain of Blackwood Ridge, choosing a secluded spot far from the main trails. What began as a tradition of camaraderie and nature's embrace would descend into an unimaginable nightmare. Their carefully planned escape from city life became a desperate fight for survival, leaving behind a chilling mystery that echoed through the pines for years.
Yes, Marcus. Imagine the crisp autumn air, the vibrant foliage, the scent of pine and damp earth. Sarah, a graphic designer, Mark, an engineer, Emily, a teacher, and Chris, a chef, had known each other since college. This trip was their sacred ritual, a chance to reconnect, tell stories around the campfire, and truly disconnect. They drove their SUV, a reliable old Land Rover, deep into the forest, past the designated campgrounds, seeking true solitude. They set up camp near a small, unnamed creek surrounded by ancient, towering pines. The last contact anyone had with them was a text from Sarah to her sister on Friday evening, simply saying, "Camp set, stars are amazing." When Sunday rolled around and no one heard from the group, their families weren't immediately concerned. It was their tradition to completely unplug. But by Monday morning, calls went unanswered, and a knot of dread began to form. Sarah's sister reported them missing to the Blackwood County Sheriff's Department. Deputies, along with volunteer search and rescue teams, immediately launched a search operation, focusing on the remote areas known for backcountry camping. The forest, so inviting just days before, now seemed to hold its breath, a vast, silent expanse that swallowed sound.
The search efforts were extensive, covering hundreds of acres. Days turned into nights. Finally, on Wednesday afternoon, a search helicopter spotted their distinctive green Land Rover tucked away on a forgotten logging trail. It was meticulously parked, no signs of forced entry. But what they found at the campsite itself was deeply unsettling. Tents were still pitched, but several had their ropes inexplicably cut, leaning precariously. Food was spilled, a campfire extinguished, but not by rain. It was as if a sudden, violent upheaval had occurred, leaving behind a chilling tableau of disarray rather than a simple packing up. There were no signs of the four campers, only an ominous stillness.
Forensic analysis of the campsite revealed critical details. There were signs of a struggle near one of the tents. Footprints, distinctively different from the campers, were found in the damp soil, larger and more erratic. A crude, hand-carved wooden figure, almost doll-like, was found driven into the ground near the campfire remains, a chilling calling card. It became clear this was not a natural disaster or a simple mishap. Someone had been there, someone with malevolent intent. Investigators theorized the attack occurred during the night under the cover of darkness, catching the campers completely off guard. The cut tent ropes suggest a deliberate act to prevent immediate escape or to isolate victims.
Imagine the terror, Marcus. The friends, nestled in their sleeping bags, suddenly awakened by it rustling outside, the snapping of branches, a guttural whisper. The initial confusion turning to horrifying realization as their tents were tampered with from the outside, their means of escape compromised. The sounds of desperate cries, muffled by the dense forest, echoing briefly before being absorbed by the vast, indifferent wilderness. Perhaps they tried to signal each other, to fight back, but were overwhelmed. The discovery of that disturbing wooden effigy speaks volumes about the perpetrator's state of mind. A twisted message, a claim of territory, a symbol of primal fear. It was a calculated act of psychological warfare before the physical confrontation. The investigation soon shifted focus from a missing persons case to a potential abduction or worse. Local authorities began interviewing residents near Blackwood National Forest. Whispers quickly emerged about a reclusive figure named Silas Thorne, a man who had lived off the grid for decades in a dilapidated cabin deep within the woods, fiercely protective of his solitude. Locals described him as eccentric, often seen foraging, but rarely interacting. He had a reputation for confronting hikers he perceived as trespassing on his land. It was a long shot, but the details of the crude wooden figure and the territorial nature of the crime resonated with descriptions of Silas.
Detectives obtained a search warrant for Thorne's cabin, located several miles deeper into the forest from the campsite. What they found was a stark, almost primitive existence. Animal hides, various handmade tools, and a disturbing collection of similar wooden effigies. Crucially, they found a pair of worn boots matching the unique footprints discovered at the campsite. Further, a small blood-stained knife was found hidden in a hollowed-out log near his cabin. DNA testing quickly confirmed the blood belonged to Sarah Miller. The puzzle pieces were falling into place, pointing directly to Silas Thorne as the Blackwood woodsman, the monster who had terrorized the campers. Silas Thorne was apprehended without resistance outside his cabin. He was a man in his late 60s, gaunt, with wild, unkempt hair and eyes that held a disturbing vacantness. During interrogation, he spoke in fragmented sentences, ranting about invaders and sacred ground. It became apparent that Thorne suffered from severe paranoia and possibly other undiagnosed mental illnesses, exacerbated by decades of isolation. He confessed to attacking the campers, claiming they had desecrated his sanctuary. He admitted to cutting their tents, then ambushing them as they emerged in terror, physically overpowering them and dragging them deeper into the forest to teach them a lesson.
The search for the four friends intensified around Thorne's cabin. Tragically, after several grueling days, the bodies of Sarah Miller, Mark Jenkins, Emily Carter, and Chris Peterson were discovered in shallow graves, meticulously hidden beneath a thicket of ferns and fallen leaves. The autopsies confirmed blunt force trauma and stab wounds as the cause of death. Their final moments, as revealed through Thorne's chilling account and the evidence, painted a picture of unimaginable terror, trapped, isolated, and ultimately silenced by a man consumed by his own delusional domain. Thorne was eventually found unfit to stand trial due to his severe mental state and committed to a secure psychiatric facility, where he later died. The Blackwood Woodsman case sent shockwaves through the outdoor community. It was a stark reminder that even in the most serene natural settings, danger can lurk in unexpected forms. While Blackwood National Forest remains a popular destination, the memory of Sarah, Mark, Emily, and Chris serves as a somber warning. Park authorities increased patrols and implemented stricter rules for backcountry camping, educating visitors about the potential risks of going too far off-grid and the importance of sharing itineraries. Yet, the question remains, how do we balance the allure of untamed wilderness with the inherent risks posed by those who dwell within its shadows?
Indeed, Yuki. The tragedy of the night they cried highlights the critical need for awareness, even for experienced campers. It's a testament to the dedication of law enforcement and search and rescue teams, but also a haunting reflection on mental health within isolated communities.
For the families of Sarah, Mark, Emily, and Chris, the closure of finding their loved ones was tinged with the profound grief of knowing the horrific circumstances. Their story, though heartbreaking, compels us to remember that respect for nature must extend to respecting the unwritten boundaries and the potential hidden dangers, ensuring that a search for peace in the wilderness doesn't tragically end in terror. Thank you for joining us on